Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Christy Kijarina. It's Wednesday, October 16. In Squiz Kids Today, giant robot catches a rocket, talking animals in England, the Socceroos keep World Cup hopes alive, and the tiniest load of laundry. That's what's making news kid style.
The Lowdown.
We're blasting off into space in the Lowdown today with NASA's Europa Clipper, the world's largest robotic probe ever built. Its mission? To explore one of the most mysterious places in our solar system, Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Scientists think that this icy moon may have a vast ocean beneath its frozen surface. Liquid water. Could that mean life? Well, NASA's $5 billion mission, which has been decades in the making, aims to find out. The probe will take 5.5 years to travel 2.9 billion kilometres to reach Europa, getting a gravity boost from Mars and Earth to slingshot it out towards Jupiter. Once it arrives, the Europa Clipper will stick around for 4 years, making 49 flybys and coming as close as 25 kilometres from the surface, studying the moon for signs that it might have what's needed to support simple life, like bacteria. Sadly, probably not fish or whales, say scientists. Meanwhile, SpaceX made history on Sunday with another jaw-dropping achievement. During a test flight of its Starship rocket, the massive first stage booster, that's the bit that launches the rocket with all the fire and the gas, you know the one, it carried the second stage 70 kilometres up above the Earth. But here's the cool part, instead of crashing back to Earth, the booster flew itself back to the launch pad, where giant mechanical arms caught it in midair. It landed perfectly in the launch tower's arms. This new catch and land trick is a huge step towards reusable rockets that could one day take humans to the moon and even Mars. There's a link to an amazing video of the landing in the episode notes, and trust me, it's out of this world.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in England, specifically Cambridge University's Museum of Zoology, where something a little bizarre is happening. People are talking to the animals. And no, Dr. Dolittle isn't running the show. Ask your parents if you don't know who that is. Here's the twist. These animals are long gone, have kicked the bucket, are dead. But thanks to AI, for the next month, 20 different animals, whether they're stuffed or skeletons, have been given the power of speech. So how are they doing this? Well, using their phones, museum visitors can chat with creatures from a fin whale to an extinct dodo in over 20 different languages. The idea behind the program is to forge a closer connection between humans and animals to try and stop future extinctions. Want to know what a dodo ate for lunch before humans wiped them out? Just ask. Wonder what life was like for a fin whale in the open ocean? It'll tell you. And yes, the platypus speaks with an Aussie accent. How cool is that? There's even an American cockroach in the exhibit. I wonder if I'd still squish it if it could argue back.
Sport time.
Have you ever had one of those hectic Saturday mornings where you're running late for sport, arrive just in time, and have to run straight out onto the field without warming up? Well, that's pretty much what happened to the Australian men's soccer team, the Socceroos, in Japan overnight. Stuck in traffic, they arrived at the stadium with just 49 minutes to spare before kickoff. And this wasn't just any old game, It was a FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifier. Despite the chaos, the Socceroos managed to hold Japan to a 1-1 draw. But here's the kicker. Neither team scored a proper goal. Both points were own goals, meaning they accidentally kicked the ball into their own nets. Professionals do it too. Going into the match, the Aussies were the underdogs, facing a red-hot Japan team sitting pretty at the top of their qualifying group. And to make things tougher, the Socceroos have never beaten the Samurai Blue on Japanese soil, with their last win against them way back in 2009. So, all things considered, taking home a point was a pretty solid result. The road to the FIFA World Cup in 2026 is still open, but their next match against Saudi Arabia in Melbourne on November 14 is a must-win to keep their hopes alive of securing one of 2 direct qualifying spots. Go Socceroos!
Biggest, furthest, longest.
Smallest? In the biggest, tallest, longest segment. You heard right. Usually we bring you tales of giant things like the world's biggest dog, the largest haka ever performed, or the most clothes pegs clipped to someone's face. It's 161 by the way, but please don't try it at home. But today we're flipping the script and diving into the world of tiny with the world's smallest washing machine. As far as usefulness goes, well, it might not get through a full basket of dirty laundry. Not in my house anyway. But on the impressiveness scale, it is off the charts. This mini marvel measures just 3.25 centimetres by 3.35 centimetres by 3.86 centimetres. It's a tiny rectangular prism about the size of a Tamagotchi, and it weighs only as much as 2 Oreo biscuits. It was created by an Indian engineer. This teeny tiny washer earned its world record by going through a full wash cycle. Yep, that's a wash, a rinse, and a spin. And don't worry, there's a video of the itty bitty clean machine doing its thing in your episode notes. Now, if only we could find some trolls who need their laundry done.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. The ice moon Europa orbits which enormous planet? That's right, Squiz Kids, it's Jupiter. Question number 2. In which year will the next FIFA Men's World Cup be played? Good work if you said 2026. Question number 3. Which biscuits did I compare the weight of the world's tiniest washing machine to? Great work if you said delicious Oreos.
Shout-outs.
It's Wednesday, October 16, World Food Day. It's not only a day for eating tons of delicious food, but it's also a day to think about how we might be able to contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of Zero Hunger. I've stuck a link in the episode notes if you want to find out more about what you can do. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Chelsea from South Brisbane, Isla from Nightcliff, Evie from Dubbo, Logan from Belden, Grace from Adelaide, Artie from Wagga Wagga, Lila from Melbourne, Juniper from Dixon, and Charlotte, who is caravanning the Eyre Peninsula in South Australia. Wow. Last room shout-outs today go to Year 5 with Mrs Mitchell at St John's Primary School in Lambton, Class 5-6R with Mrs Garsham at Al Hikma College in Lakemba, Class Munro 1 with Ms Wood at Parkside Primary School, Class 4-5 with Mr Rowley at Baroa Central School, Class 3-4C with Mr Ockers at Miller Public School, and Classes 2-4R and 5-5KC with Mrs Chalmers and Mrs Robertson at Albury North Public School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, please drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.